And we're back to streaming. Okay, there's a few things we need to update. I think we need to set this date here and just do it twice. I don't like it, but it's gonna make the most sense. We're going to actually set this when we enter a new state, as well as we'll set the sprite as well, which is going to be sprite index, I believe. Yep. So we're going to be setting all of this stuff on entry. Hmm. I think I need to log into here to see my YouTube. Let's see, what's my channel? There it is. Just get that going over here. And should be able to see it live now. There we go. Okay. So we need to enter sprite index as whatever I set it to. Right? I think. Sounds right. There we go. Weekly content. All right, now back to it. Whoops. Okay, we have this little helper function here. I'm going to move over the image index stuff here. I'm going to move it over to here. Oh, that's not going to work. There we go. This is also, what's this going to be an asset? It's going to be a sprite. That's going to be this one here. And it's just going to be the sprite. Right, so we want the sprite asset, we want the frame that we want it to start on, and the speed at which we want it to play at. Right? And we could just write this every time, but we're going to be lazy man here, or efficient man. I'm not sure, I'm not sure which way we want to call it. Let's see. And on this one, we're just going to set the state, I think, is what I want to do. I'm not going to be able to run this twice. Just the once. I think that's all I want that to do. So in the current state, as we're swapping out of it, we're going to remember the previous state. We're going to save it. And on entry, we're going to run this. And I guess after we're done doing this, we want to set the player previous equal to player state. Pretty sure we want to do that. Did I write this wrong? Why is it not lighting up? No, I didn't write it wrong. That's awkward. Yeah, because so this is going to allow us to do our on entry code by remembering the previous state. And then once we're in the new state, we want to set the sprite, the speed, and then we want to remove the flag. I'm trying to think how this is going to go. So we're going to set the previous state there. And the new time around, we need to set, player to the current one. So on this one, we need to save the previous before setting the new one. But on this one, we just want to make it equal so that it removes it. And this only needs to run once. Okay, this should work. Unless I'm not getting it, which is entirely possible. So here we're going to say if the player state is not the current state, essentially, run this. And we're going to use our function here. So one of them we're going to be using to set the state, or probably maybe set new state. Maybe I should call it that, set new state or transition state or something like that. Set animation. I need to be a little bit more precise with my language. Okay, so we're going to set not the state but the animation. And we're going to pass it in the sprite we want to change to. In this case, it's going to be idle. So it's going to be player 1. It's going to be a sprite. And it's going to be the idle state. 1 is sufficient here. And so what this should do, there's a few more arguments I have to pass in. I want to start on frame 1. Actually, I don't need to pass in that if it's going to be normal, right? Right. And so what this is going to do is going to make sure that if I was previously not in the idle state, so this is the first time I'm entering the idle state, then go ahead and set the sprite, but don't do it every frame that you're in the idle state. That's what I'm trying to avoid. And so I no longer need to do this because this would run this, it would set the sprite every single frame that I'm in idle, and that doesn't make any sense. So we're going to remove that. And double check that we're doing everything right here. Yeah, I think so. So set animation should only be able to run once if I did this correctly. I could have also messed it up and it's not going to work at all. That's entirely possible. Okay, so here, this needs to be changed. This isn't going to work either now. So we're going to take this jump here. That's the sprite we're going to use. We can get rid of that. Actually, we can leave that. And we're just going to run this. And we're going to run set state. No, set animation. And we just need to run that. There we go. The other two parameters are entirely optional, because we don't want to change what frame we start on. We want to start at 0, and we want to animate normally. Yeah, that looks about right. You know, I just want to test it while jumping, while going from air to idle, air to idle. And okay, here I'm going to be changing back to idle. Where is it at? Here, right here. Okay, if the previous state is exactly air, which it will be, this is what I want to do here. Instead of just running this, player state equals run. Actually, we're going to do this one, player state equals idle. Instead of doing that, we're going to comment that out. And we want to do, we're going to run our set state instead. And we're just going to pass it in the new state. I don't like that my description doesn't, I thought I wrote it in there that I want the enum, which is going to be this. I don't know why it didn't set the feather. Let's see. New state here. Yeah. Am I just not paying attention? Let me see. Yeah, I'm just not paying attention. Okay. It says our new state, good, perfect. I just want it to be very obvious what I'm doing. Okay, so here we're setting the state, and we're setting the state to idle. And all that's going to do is it's going to check. It's going to first make sure that we're not in the new state, because we shouldn't be. We should only be doing this if we're not. Then we're going to record what state we are currently in. Then we're going to switch to the state that we want to be in. Cool. And that should only run once as we're exiting. So now we should get here, jump, yes. Okay, so that seems to be working. Oh, we're not transitioning back into idle for whatever reason here. That's not good. Okay. So we need to figure out why that's happening. That's not good. It could be because of this. I don't know why it's grayed out. Here, actually, let me go ahead and close off. Be right back. I'm going to close this window off and relaunch it. I'm wondering if it's just some kind of bug. Actually, while I'm at it, I'm going to grab a drink. I will be right back. And we're back. Okay. So, gotta figure out why is it not working? Let's go back to this, actually. Yeah, okay, it's there. It's working fine. Alright, so why is it not working? Great question. Maybe we don't want to set this. Let's go ahead and comment that out. It shouldn't be the problem, but you know what? Let's just try it. Yeah, we're not able to transition out of there. So let's see, are we even in the idle? Yeah, we're in the idle. But we're leaving the previous animation there, and that shouldn't be happening. No, why is that? Something else must be changing it. I don't quite know why. Let's take a look here. So we should only be setting the sprite once, as I understand, not every single frame, right? Because if we already have that sprite on, we don't need to be constantly setting it. That's what I'm trying to avoid anyways. And then otherwise, the idle state really doesn't do anything but give you a way to get out of it. Or get into a new state, I should say. Okay. Well, immediately I already see here that I haven't set the state to get into air. So let's go ahead and do that. Set state. And we're going to use the player state.air. Okay. Alright, so that should, while we're in the idle state, once we get into the idle state, we set the correct sprite. And then I want to get some sort of confirmation. So let's go ahead and get this here. We'll put a debug message here, and we'll just kind of output idle on entry. So that way I know, and it shouldn't be getting spammed, although I believe it is going to be because I removed this. So let's actually put that back. Because set animation is going to be here. So when I get into the idle state, the previous should not be idle. It should be whatever else it was. But when I return in here, I need it to be. I need the previous state to be idle. And that's what this is going to do. Except, let's see, yeah, that's it, right? I set these things up. That should be good. Let me go ahead and run it again. Well, let me just kind of double check what I got going on. Here I set state, player state. And it's going to grab the previous state, and it's going to set it to a current state. Over here, it's going to set it to air. And then it's going to go to the new state, which is air. No, it's going to set it to idle. Previous state's going to be idle. Right? Because when I get in here, the only way I can get in here is if my player state is idle. So the variable is idle. Then it comes here. It needs to be switched to air. Let me write this out. Very, very confusing. Okay, something's still wrong. Let's go over to our, you know what, let's go ahead and bring this down a bit. I don't have to keep Messing that up. Make sure I have the brakes here. I'm pretty sure I do, yeah. It's just good to double check here. Okay, so really it's just the air state that I'm looking at. Could probably tidy this up as well, but it's fine. Okay. Set animation. We're only doing this once we get in here. So it's not even playing this actually. On entry. So we're in the air state. From the air state, we're on entry, and we're not actually playing this at all. Which is weird because we should have put it here. This is somehow running, which is weird. It's like double checking, why aren't we in it? This should be putting me in the state. It's very, very odd. Something isn't working. Let me kind of write this stuff out. Okay, let's kind of walk us through here. So we're in the idle state, right? That's step one. Then we're going to check if the previous state is not the idle state. Now, of course, player state previous is going to be idle. So right off the bat, that's going to be a problem. So this will never actually run. Because when we start the game off, player state previous is already set to idle. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening here. So that's a problem already. I'm wondering if we can just set it to none by default. This doesn't need to be really set to anything. Just like an empty string or something. Yeah, because player state, at this point, frame 1, player previous state is going to be set to idle. So if this is set to not idle, this is never going to run. Okay, idle on entry. So now we're getting that not working. Okay. But now we're not getting back to idle once we go into the air. Okay, well, the good news is we're getting our on entry at the very beginning. Okay, so we start off, we're in idle. And that means that player state, the conditions are player underscore state is equal to idle, and previous state is equal to an empty string. But then once we get into idle, so frame 2, actually frame 1 we're already setting it out. So in frame 1, we're starting off, this runs one time, which is correct, right? We see over here idle on entry. Okay, so that means this is being run correctly at the very start of the game. And we're setting here the animation. Which is all this. We want to set the sprite. We want to set the speed, the index, and then we want to set the previous state equal to the current state. right? At this point, only one time. But then when we get to idle air, here, we want to set state to air now. So it should go into here. I have my new state, which is going to be air. So if it's not equal to air, which it won't be, right? Because this is idle. So player state should be equal to idle. Then it's going to set the previous to the current. And then change it. Am I not doing this correctly? I feel like I'm missing something. Idle. What am I missing? Okay, let me see if I can get a little bit of help here. Let me share here the case for idle. That's the on entry there. And then for air, we want to show this guy, case for air. I guess we need to swap this stuff out as well, but this isn't even running, so we're gonna swap this out too. Set sprite. Oh, set animation. You know what? I could have just copied this and then done it. I'll do it that way. Okay. Set animation. Set to this. And then we should not be changing anything here. It's just stopping the animation. And then if we're falling, hey, Q emitter, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I guess we only need to stop it at this frame. You know what's interesting is I don't know why it's saying if we're not falling, change it to falling. Doing well, man. Just using brain to figure out how to get this to work. Finding out a few quirks of GameMaker and trying to get them fixed. I noticed that there's a lot of videos that you learn from that show you to set your sprite index to whatever asset you want in like your state machine or yeah, pretty much whatever state you're in. But then I came to realize that that's happening every single frame. You're like assigning your asset to the sprite index every frame. And then I learned that GameMaker keeps track of the image index and doesn't reset it to 0. It just keeps playing even when you switch the sprite, the asset. So let's say you're running and your running animation is like 6 frames. Let's say frame 1 at 0, index 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. There's still 3 more frames to go or 2 more frames to go. But when it transitions to, like, let's say jump, it's still on image index 3. So if your jumping animation is 4 frames, then that means it's going to start on the last frame. And that doesn't make any sense. Like, I should start at frame 0 because we're starting a new animation, but that's not how it works. GameMaker's like, yeah, tough stuff. Whenever you swap an asset, you don't actually reset the image index. There's got to be a reason why. It doesn't make any sense to me. I imagine every time you swap an asset, you would want the image index to be 0, but that's not how it works. So We are trying to figure out what the best way to go about it. You know, every time you get into a state, you only need to set the asset once. You don't need to run it every single time. And then two, every time you do transition into a new asset, you need to be able to change the image index to 0, which we're making that now. But in doing so, we kind of busted a bunch of stuff. So we're here trying to figure out why. You know how it is, right? You change one thing. I didn't really change one thing. I'm like reworking how it works. And then here is I should probably give it all of it, right? Shouldn't just shouldn't skimp out here. I'm already setting idle back here. Set state idle. Yeah, that looks good. We shouldn't grab all of this. You know what? I should just do that. Much easier to do this. Okay. Okay, and then here's my two helper functions. Handle player state previous and player state. And that's a previous state. No. Yep. Nope, that's awkward. Let me see if I can get some help here. Can't quite figure this one out. I don't know why. It should be easy to figure out, but it's not standing out to me. So we're working on currently, let's kind of, I guess we go through the logic again. So we start the game. Game state is, or my, yeah, it's already set to idle, right? When I start the game, yeah. So I start the game, my state is idle, should be. Okay, I don't want to set previous to anything, but the player state starts off at idle. Okay, that's fantastic. Step one is good. Okay, now when you're in idle, we should not have a player state previous. It should be nothing. So it should not be idle. That's correct. Then we're going to set the animation to idle. And this should only be happening on entry, meaning one time. We do this one time and then never again. And if I check my utilities here, the player state is not the new state, which it shouldn't be. Actually, wait a minute. This actually will never run. Wait, what? This will never run. That's my problem. Because I'm running set state. Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm running this in the previous one. Set state is in the previous one. I'm running set state here. So player state is not the new state. It won't be. Player state is currently idle, but I'm trying to go to air. So this will work. Set state. Player state is idle. It is not the air state, which is the new state I want to go into. Then it's going to grab the current state, which is idle. It's going to put it into the previous state, which is correct. And then we're going to transition into the air state. That's correct, right? My logic sounds like it's right. I don't know. I don't know. It's telling me that I shouldn't do this, but then we're never resetting it, which is really weird. That means every single frame it's gonna run. Uh, yeah, every single frame is gonna run. If I remove this, every single frame is gonna run, which doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Very strange. Why is it in the? It just stays running. It. Oh, that's right, because we never swapped it back. That's fine. We're just trying to figure out the idle and the air right now. We'll figure out the rest in a bit. But it's not going to. It's gonna switch doesn't change. It only runs once, right? Yeah, I don't think it's. This one I'm not really quite getting. I don't know why. Player state previous. Why would you not want to reset it? There's gotta be a reason why. So I am getting this to work. The first time, but not the second time. Why? So if I go from idle to air, set the state air. That should be fine. And then when I'm in the air state, transitioning back into the idle state should be here. Right? It doesn't change. Why doesn't it change? So the on entry for air is not working. This is running. This is very strange to me. So here's what we're going to do. Every time we go in here, we're going to print out what our previous state is. Okay. Previous state is set to air. Wait, why? What? 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Doesn't make sense. Why would the previous... What? Okay, hold on. I am not changing previous state here. Dude, why is my brain getting fried right now? What's going on? It's saying the previous state. When I enter here, when I enter the air state, it's saying that the previous state is air. But it shouldn't be. Right? Yeah, immediately. So we get idle. Previous state is air. We go from idle to previous state. It doesn't make any sense. And previous state is set to 5, which is air. We don't change it to... What is going on? Something is really funky here. When we set the state, we set player state. And player state is the current state. Why isn't this working like I think it should? Super lost here. This is not running. Question is why? Player state previous is not air. It should not be air. Current should be air. Previous should be where it came from. Right? If we set state in here, previous state should be idle. Why is it not working that way? I am so confused right now. Set state is air. Set state. Player becomes idle. Player state becomes air. Frame 2, air. The switch statement goes from case, player air. Yeah, like this is so far so good, right? Goes to air. I'm in air. Did I write something wrong? Player is not in air state. What? Entry check. If the player state is not air, it's true, because previous is idle. Right. But it's not even working, though. That's the problem. This is running, not that. So, I'm going to remove this. Right? And then run it. You'll see this never runs. Oh boy, now it's even worse. Okay. I don't understand why. It should only run for one frame. Oh man. Done animating. Well, done animating never actually worked ever, but now it's working for some reason. Yeah, something is wrong. Air state is never actually, this is never running. Why? Why isn't it running? It's running this. Oh, this is running, but there's no sprite change here. Yeah, this should only run once. When you get into the air state, I want you in the jumping. I don't want to re-add this every frame. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, okay. Okay. Let's take a look at this again. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay. First, let me give it. Okay, let me give it my idle and air state here. Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if I need to give it the entire thing. I shouldn't need to. Let's see, switch, player state, chase, idle, case, run, chase, crouch, etc. Change. So when we change currently from idle, when I jump, it just, yeah. Okay, do. Okay. Yeah, I don't, it's quite, kind of weird. Very, very weird here. Let me check. Is there anywhere? Oh, you know what? Am I at the very? Oh, there it is. There's a culprit. I forgot to change this. Beating my head on a bush. That's why. That's why. Let's go ahead and go back here. That is why. Bring that back. There we go. I bet you that fixes it. Oh, will you look at that? Look at that. Yep. I just forgot to remove it. So I should have idle entry. There we go. Now I'm getting the entries and they're only playing once. That's what I wanted. Oops. Okay, I figured it out at the end of my 7 and I forgot to remove this. Okay. Okay. The I just did it and it works though. What? Huh? What the heck? Am I drunk right now? Okay. What is going on? Let me see. Okay, I look at that. Idle on entry, idle on entry, idle on entry. Yeah, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not listening to you. Okay, let's see. frame 1, player state is idle. Let's say frame 1, player state is idle. Then the previous state is nothing. Then we press jump previous state equals idle, state equals jump. Okay, frame 2, on entry is true because we are in air state, so previous does not equal state, right? The current state does not equal because we're doing it here, but let me go here so I can visualize this as I'm writing it down, right? Previous state does not equal air because we are in air state, so previous does not equal air, and it equals idle, so the on entry runs. Set animation now. Set animation now sets previous state to air, so that the next frame the on entry logic is false and does not run again. Frame 3, we touched the ground. We touched the ground. So like here we go. State is now idle. Previous state is still air. So the idle on entry code runs once, etc. Your on entry block runs every frame only when the player state previous is never updated at all. That's incorrect. Dude, are you the dumbest thing on the planet, or am I the dumbest person on the planet? Because I can put it out. When we transition, yeah, there's something wrong here. Because look, here we're setting animation, right? And in the setting animation, we're here. I'm sorry. We're migrating. Where's the air? Right here. Set state to air. Okay, set state to air. Player state previous equals player state. Okay, so we go in here. We want to change from idle to air. So if idle does not equal air, we run it. This should be true. Previous state is now equal to the current state. So previous state is now idle. And then the new is now air. That's correct. Previous state is now air. No, I'm sorry, is idle. Then when you go into air, player previous is player previous is idle. So then set animation runs. Set animation is here. Hold on. Wait a minute. Player state previous is error. This is not true because player state previous was that. Player state previous is idle. So this runs. But while I'm in the air, it's idle, it's idle, it's idle, it's idle, it's idle. Right? Yes? Bruh. Okay, I mean, you're telling me one thing, I'm seeing a different thing. Here, let me trust you for a second. Let's pretend, I'm gonna put my brain down for a second. I'm clearly seeing the assignments, so let me just, okay. So this is still running when I jump, right? Let me debug this out. Really need to understand what's going on here. So I'm jumping, look, on air, on air, on air. You see how it's happening every frame? Frame. It's clearly happening every frame. So when you tell me it's not, I don't understand. So when I swap here, let's see. I don't need to be setting this here. Actually, I shouldn't be doing anything here, really. I'm going to the restroom. Because when I enter, I should do that. Don't need to do anything. It's still that way until it ends. Yeah, this guy's just dumb. I don't know. Okay. I think that's what it is. This guy's just dumb because I'm just now figuring out that I don't need this code here. I do need this. So if I'm rising, well, I guess I could use like the, let me actually play it. Player 2, jump. Yeah, it needs to freeze at the last frame, which is this. But you don't need this. If we're rising, we don't need this. This is, don't understand. Subframes into decimals. Image index should give me integers, non-floating integers by default, and only give me floating points, the decimals, if I stretch a frame. No? Here's the documentation. For some reason, when I show debug message on image index, it is outputting decimals instead of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't actually know why. It doesn't make sense. I think I don't want to. I don't want to upgrade to the new one. It's gonna freaking destroy everything. I already know it. It's done it multiple. Every time I upgrade, it destroys everything. What? I didn't ask about image speed. Did I accidentally put image speed? I put index. Huh? What? Bro. Let's read the documentation again. I hate when you talk to me in this weird language, bro. Like, you're killing me. Okay. It holds the current frame of the instance. A sprite is made up of one or more sub-images, which can make the sprite appear animated as a switch from one to another, or can they be switched between encode to give different states, much like button has a Windows. If the sprite is animated, then you can get the current frame of the animation by checking image index variable, or if you want to change the state of a static sprite, you can select a new sub-image by setting the variable to the desired sub-image of that sprite. Note: for changes in variable to be visible, the instance should have either no draw event, and so GameMaker will default draw the sprite, or be drawn using one of the draw functions by supplying image index to the appropriate argument. Setting this variable directly to the frame will not trigger any broadcast messages. While using skeletal animations, you can set the index value. Okay, I don't care about that. This right here, a stretched frame will be returned as a fraction. For example, sprite editor, you stretch 1 to 4 instead of 4 frames returning 1, 2, 3, 4. They will instead return this. Right. Right. But I'm not stretching them. It says it's going to return 1, 2, 3, 4, but it doesn't. Why? It makes no sense to me. I need someone to explain to me. I'm too dumb. Let's see. Where is my idle animation here? These are also not stretched. I don't get it. I'm thinking maybe the transition was stretched, but they're not. They're clearly not. Makes no sense whatsoever. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Is that what's happening? Let's find out. Okay. So I've changed this FPS to 6. Okay. What if I change it to 60? Will it give me 1, 2, 3, 4? Let's find out. Look at that. Image index 0, image index 1, image index 2, image index 3. Oh, God, I'm about to fall asleep, dude, honestly. So I need to multiply this number then. I have to constantly figure out what the math is to figure out how it's going to subdivide my frames. I can't just set it -1. That's annoying. That's very annoying. See, because now it's saying done animating, but now it's happening so fast. And then done animating is happening over and over and over and over and over, which is not what I want. I only need this to happen one time, not a million times. But first, let's figure out why this. Okay, we can probably stop this now. Now we know why. So when we jump, we should get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, well it's only showing the done animating. I'm dumb because I told it to. I told it to just show the end frame, and I actually want to show that. I want to show what the image index is as I'm jumping. Okay, so you can see here the frame is 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. Okay, so then the question okay, so when we set the animation, I have to set it to a percent 0.3. But then is it going to change the numbers? I actually don't know. We're able to find out. Okay, so index is 0, and then we're going to put like 0.3. Okay. Now it's going to give me... Yeah, it's going to give me the goddamn freaking points again. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. I'm either going to stretch out the frames or add additional frames, but I can never change that number. Otherwise, it's not going to... Oh, God. There's got to be a better way of doing this. This is disgusting. Okay. Here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to obviously set this to 60 FPS. That's ridiculous. All right, this is not what we want. That's what we want. Okay, so we need to calculate what the end frame is. And what is 6? 6 frames per second. Okay. How are we calculating this? I need your help to do some math. Okay. In the sprite editor, you can set the sprite animation FPS at 60. My game is 60 FPS. My sprite is at 6 FPS. So the output, the image index puts out numbers like 0.3, 0.6, 0.9, 1.2, etc. Okay, I need a way of keeping track of these subframes because there's no way that I'm going to change it like that. So, but I still want this to be able to work. The alternative is to add more of these frames instead of just changing this number, right? That's the alternative. So, like I can go, how can I duplicate this frame? You can't. You can in the sprite like this, right? Now there's 2. Now there's another one. Now there's another one. Now there's another one, right? And then you go back into this, and now I've doubled it essentially. We go back to 60 FPS. See? Now you're like, it's not fast enough, so you've got to go back in the editor, and then you're adding another one, you're adding another one, you're adding another one, right? And so on and so forth. I think that's dumb, and it's going to get really messy. I want it to be obvious and easy to work with on the front end. That one's off, and this one's off. So we got to figure out a solution. I like being able to just change the number here and then have it do its thing. And then if I want to change it, I want to just grab these and move it around. Which, oh, you know what? Oh, God. Again. What if I want to change my game FPS to like 30? It's going to change everything. That's a problem. And that is a problem. Because I don't know why you would need this to run 60 frames per second. Okay, so how do I want to solve this problem? I'm just staring at this. They're in fractions, and so this won't ever work. Okay, my game is 60 FPS. Let's see. If my game is at 60 FPS and I don't change my sprite FPS, so it is also at 60 FPS, the image index output debug message output is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. If I change my sprite FPS to 6, the image index outputs numbers like 0.3, right? So I can no longer do, this means I can no longer do something like this. Is there a way we can either make every decimal how do we do this? We either need to keep track of how do we track? So I think, is image index the problem? I feel like it is. Hmm. Why would you do floor? Wouldn't you do ceiling? Because you would want 0 to become 1. Wouldn't you? If I use floor, won't it just make the number 0 all the time? If it's like 0.3, it'll be 0, and then 0.6 will also be 0. I'm not getting the end frame. This is never running. This is never running, I don't think. Let me remove this to show if it is done animating. And maybe it is, I'm just blind. Probably the case. So we're jumping. I don't see animation end. I go idle on entry, then air on entry, index is 0, 10, blah, 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 blah. I don't see that getting ran ever. I don't know why. What's the issue now? God damn it, dude. Image index. Image number is the number of frames in here, and that should be 4. So this number needs to reach 4. It never will. It didn't here. It went from 0 to 1, or... I think we do ceiling, honestly. Let me try it out. Well, this thing won't work then. Yeah, this won't work. Because I don't have reliable numbers. Can I do ceiling? Let me see. Seal. What is it? How does it run? This function takes any real number and rounds it up to the nearest integer. Rounds it up. Yeah, I need it to be rounded up. Right, so if it's like 0.3, I need it rounded to 1. And then I don't think I need to do -1, because if it's 0.3 or trying to be 0, let's see. Well, I didn't do anything. I was hoping it would turn 0.1 into 1, but it did not do that. What the hell? That time it did it. So, little jumps. Look how many frames it's outputting. That's just ridiculous. And if you jump high, it will eventually turn it off. But it's not even animating. Like, it's not doing the animation. Why? Why? Why isn't it animating? This is what it... Jump. This is what it should be. Crouch, jump, crouch, jump, crouch, jump, crouch, jump, crouch, jump. But it's not doing that. Why isn't it doing that? Am I just blind? I guess I am blind? Or maybe it's just going so fast that I can't tell? Here, it's not going that fast, so I can tell. Here, what if we did like 1 frame per second? Here, let's do that. No, it's not animating at all. It's taking like the end frame and holding it. Yeah, it's not animating at all. Okay, there's an issue with this. Not sure what it is. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Let's actually remove all this stuff here. We can just set sprite. Instead of this, we can just set sprite. This did not work. This did absolutely nothing. Right? I think so. Yeah, because this isn't changing the number. It's just... Yeah, it's not changing the number. And why did I remove my... I meant to remove that and this. Right. No, this is never going to work, unfortunately. I need a way to end animation reliably. And the only way I could think of is using the end step. This guy, animation end. But I don't want to do that, because then I'm going to have to remember to track those animation ends in 2 separate places, which is what I'm trying to avoid. I'm gonna have to write like if I'm in the air state and this, then do that. Like it's just in two separate places. That just seems ridiculous. There's gotta be a way to track this better, man. There's got to be. I wonder if there is a way to figure out what the number of frames are. Yeah, I think we just need to update this math here. What was that? Asterix, thanks for the follow, man. I think what I have to do here is I need to, instead of looking at image number, I need to do some calculations and divide image number by the FPS of the sprite. And then instead of 1, I need to figure out what a fraction, 1 frame is equivalent to, and then minus that. Because instead of giving me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like I would expect, it's giving me fractions of it, and that's fine, but it means that this will no longer work. So I need to make image number equal to the amount of frames divided by FPS, and then whatever number that is, I need to minus one of those, so like minus 0.2. That would give, then this would work again. But at the moment, this is never running. And then this is, we're no longer doing this. We're using sprite, set sprite to this. So set sprite. Oh, it's animation, not sprite. And let me just double check what we're doing here. We're setting the sprite, the frame to start on, which is 0, and then the animation speed correct. And let me just make sure this is working. Yep. I can't tell if it's, I don't think it is. I don't even think it's animating. Here, let's make it super obvious. I want to write a bunch of stupid stuff over this so I can really tell, because I can't tell right now. Let's make another layer. Just get this out of the way. Okay. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. And this is 4. Okay. I should be able to tell now. Okay, so I'm never seeing 4. That's a problem. It's going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but where's 4? Hello? I think it's because it's equal to. It needs to be equal to 0. I mean, it shouldn't need to. It should be able to get to the end of its animation. That's really strange. Because it's, look how many frames it's running. You're telling me that it never has enough time to play the 4th one? That doesn't make any sense. Uh-oh. I put the equal sign in the wrong place, and the game was like, hey, dum-dum. Yeah, there's no 4. Why? There's 1, 2, 3, but there's no 4. Why is 4 not playing? Huh? Okay, so that's not the problem. Why is it not working? Done animating 1. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Let's see if this is the problem. I don't think it is, but it's still just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's never getting to the third frame. It's always playing. What the heck, dude? Is it because of, like, I don't know why this is so trivial. It's even showing the last frame there, and it shouldn't be. I shouldn't have to be sitting here playing with these numbers until I get them to show exactly right. This can't be the way to do it. So I need to make it so it doesn't loop. How do I make it so it doesn't loop? Why is this the most ridiculous thing? Very, very So as I'm rising, it's not able to reach the end of the animation in time. There, that makes it so. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4 is opposite. Yeah, that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I can't get it to stop. So here the image index gets to 3. Was that my problem the whole time? Is it wasn't playing long enough for this to trigger? Dude, that is so insane if that's what's going on. Let's done animating 3. That's the issue. Oh my god. That's so ridiculous. So image index starts off at 0, then it starts counting. Then it's got all these frames in between. It finally hits 1, then it keeps going. It finally hits 2, it keeps going. It finally hits 3. 3 is the last frame. So then it says done. That means that my sprite animation needs to be able to completely finish playing. Otherwise, that pattern will not work. And I'm just supposed to somehow remember that? That just seems extremely error prone. So it's not playing the last frame until forever. That seems really weird. That's not really what I want, is it? There's gotta be a way to make this not suck. Here. What if I just left it at 60 FPS and then just changed, I want this for like 10 seconds? That can't be either, right? What's the best way of doing this? So let's say I want this for 10 and then I want this for 7 and then I want this for, I don't know, 3 and then I want this for, I don't know. What'll it do here? Oh, look at that. It still works. I guess I want the first frame to be like quick. The second frame to be 10. And then this one I want it to be long, 10. Yeah, I guess this is what I want. This is terrible. Yeah, cause the him crouching down. Hmm. Okay, well that's problem number 2 I need to solve. I guess we got this here. I'm gonna leave that there, and we're gonna fix all that right now. But we can kind of follow this pattern now and use it everywhere. So instead of using player state run, instead of doing this, we're gonna do here. You know what I'm gonna do? I want to comment them all out, make sure it works first before I blow everything up, and then we'll set state, and we're just gonna punch and run, and then same thing with this one. Comment it out. Go here. Set state. Punch in that guy. Okay. So that should get me what I want for this. Let's do it for run as well. So we should not be doing this. Let's go ahead and grab this run. Oh, wait, we said we're going to comment it just in case. Let's comment everything, and then we'll come in here and we'll delete all this garbage. And then we're setting animation here. Set animation here. I don't think we're changing any parameters here because index is starting at 0 and we're just playing it normally. And then let's do a few transitions. Like this guy and this guy. We'll do player state idle. We're transitioning. Set state. Yeah, we're doing a state transition. Maybe we should call it state transition. I think it's more obvious what we're doing. Set state. I mean, it's literally what we're doing, but I think it makes more sense if I say player transition. Or set player transition. That would maybe be a nice middle ground. Why did I comment that out? That's silly. Set state. Okay. That should make it so that that works, I think. Yeah, animation works. Boop. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What's going on there? We're not going back from crouch to idle. Oh, it's because we haven't gotten there. By the way, cool. Okay. All right, so it's working. We're fine so far. From crouch to air. Yeah, we'll change that in a minute. We need some getting into crouch logic. This is unacceptable. So we're going to do this pattern. And you know what? We keep running this if statement here. I'm wondering if we need to put this into a function as well. Probably, right? Because every time we're doing set animation, it's always like this. Set animation. Yeah, because I don't want to have to write down. Oh, I guess I have to do it this way. Because this player state idle can't be a variable. That's basically what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the player state. I guess I could do like current state. Right? If player state previous is not the current state. Wait, why am I not doing that? I guess because the current state could be something different, and I need to be 100% sure it's this. But if I'm in that means I'm 100% it. Wait a minute. Wait. This should work. It's working. That's yeah, because if I'm in the idle state, right? If I get into the case player state dot idle, that means my player state is 100% idle. It can't be anything else. Otherwise, the code wouldn't even play. So instead of why don't I just do it like this? Okay. And then I'm going to take set animation, and I'm going to pass it in here. Right? Please. Brain, help me. If the player state, yeah, why wasn't it like this season the entire time? That's crazy. This is so much easier to understand, but whatever. And this is repeatable pattern. Set animation, pow. I'm wondering if I need to make set animation. Do I need to wrap it in an if statement? I could wrap set animation into it so that whenever I call it, it only runs. It only runs if I pass it in. Well, then I'd be calling it like on entry set animation. Yeah, that's fine. I think. Sure. So we're going to call set animation. And we're just going to wrap it in this if statement here. I'm either going to break it or it's going to work. I don't know why it would break, but I mean, let's find out. So we're going to do that. And that should be there. We're going to blow this away. Grab this. Put it in here. That. Yep. Delete this. Make this not be like that. There. Reset animation to ensure a fresh start. I mean, put this up here, I guess. There. It should have access to player state. I don't know why it's like that. There. So I run, and I'm going to change this because this is here. Instead of saying set animation, I'm going to call set on entry animation. Replace all. Yes. I'm thinking this will work, right? And then I no longer need to put this in an if statement. I can just say set, I can just do this, right? Oh, and I can even put the, I can even do this, right? And I could do, let's see, entry. Entered. And then I'll do entered, and then I'll do the whatever state I was in. I'll do player state, and then entered player state. Yeah, that's all I need, right? I just want to be notified that I've gone into the correct state. I think that's, yeah. And then I no longer need to run this or this. And I can just say set entry animation. And this is only going to run once, which is what I want. I don't want it to run multiple times. That's ridiculous. And that means that this needs to be changed as well. This just needs to run this. Like all this shenanigans doesn't need to be ran. Oh, hold on. I'm not setting the running sprite here. Wait. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Like that. Right? Set entry there. Set entry there. Where's the jump? We do jump. This is entry. Player state, blah, blah, blah. On entry, I just need this. Delete this. Okay, I'm either breaking everything or it's working. Haha. Haha. Okay, so we're going up, but we're not transitioning. That's not good. Oh, because we're not... No, not now. This is not working because we're literally not entering. Okay. So, on entry, I just need this to run. And then we make like set animation equal to this. And we just nest everything. Is that what we're doing? It feels grimy. Do I want to do it that way? I could. I could do it that way. Or I could just make another function call just set animation and do it like that as well. But then I'm doing two different functions and most of it is the same code. That feels weird. Yeah, because I would be doing this right here. No, I wouldn't be doing the previous state. I would just be doing this right here. Right? I wouldn't be doing the if statement. I wouldn't be checking whether the previous or player states are the same or not. And I wouldn't be changing it back. Right? set animation. We're passing in the animation. It's actually literally the exact same thing as this. That's not good. That means we're doing something wrong. Oh boy, I need to refactor here. Let's just get this wrapped around my head first. My little feeble brain. And then we will refactor. Okay, and then we don't need set animation pow. There. Yes, animation. I think that's it. Brain, help me. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Yep. Entered 0. And now I should see entered. Entered 0. Done animating. That's my falling. Then I hit the ground. Boom. That's when I got it back into the idle state. And then I pressed the jump button, presumably. Boom, I entered the air state. It started animating. Blah, blah, blah. Animating, animating, animating. It hit the final frame. Boom, it printed out. Done animating. Then I just held that frame. I don't like that it's printing it out every time or running every time. It shouldn't run every time. Pause event has been registered, and then we should have hit the ground. Yeah, entered 0. Okay, so it's working. So we have a... So now this is a problem right here. I don't like that I'm reusing this. So... Can I just pass this into this? Here, let's not use brain. Let's get AI doing it. Look at these two functions. If you notice, I am repeating sprite index, image index, and image speed. Is there a way to replace the on entry with the set animation? The on entry variable setting with the set animation. So we are not repeating. Example, basically what I want is I want like function set on entry animation. I don't know how to type, like making all these errors. Right? Basically what I'm saying is I want sprite image index speed, and then I want if blah blah blah, and then here I want set underscore animation sprite index speed code, and then if blah blah blah. Oh, I'm also need to, after this guy, code, and then close. Can I do that? I feel like I should be able to do that. Feel like I should be able to do that, and if I can, it's gonna be really nice. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Okay, so basically, I love this should come first just so my brain can understand. Right, so I'm going to be setting this animation, bang, bang, bang. And then here, I'm going to be using these values instead of rewriting them here, because that's just stupid. And I'm just using it, right? Like set animation and then write down the variables, right? So I can just do this, remove that, remove this, remove that, go back here, pop, pop. Yeah, don't need that. Yeah, supposed to be a D there. Grab this, and then use my set animation, plot those in, pow. Right? So if I want to use the set animation, I just go ahead and grab that in, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do, right? After setting those, you just go, you continue and you reset it. I think that's exactly what I wanted. Okay, and then basically I'm copying this and then set on entry animation, set just animation like that. And then we're going to use set animation. There. That should work. That should work. That should work. Yes, that's exactly what I want. Yay. Set transition state. Sets transition state. Transition to set transition state. I don't know how to word it so that it's obvious what I'm doing. Set state. I don't want to set the current state. I guess I do. That's what I'm doing. But I want to like transition to that state. This is like the smallest bit of code, but wrapping my head around it is like insane. I feel dumb. I feel so dumb. Okay. So this is exactly what I want. I'm happy with this. Wee pow wee pow wee pow wee pow wee pow wee pow wee pow. Ow. Of course I don't ever get out of it because I haven't set them. So now you got to go back and refactor everything. Yay, more code. Okay. On entry logic only runs once. Is it obvious? I feel like it should be obvious because it says set on entry animation. It should be self-documenting. And it says there set on entry animation sprite. I should probably include here only runs once. So sets on entry sprite. Only runs once. I should be more explicit. Uses player state previous and player state to only run once. I should say compares. Compares player state previous and player state to only run once. There. So now when I come here and I'm hovering over it, what the hell is this? Sets on entry, index, and speed and compares the player state and previous to only run once. Okay, I think that makes sense to me. I don't want to come back later and be like, what the hell was I doing? So I think this is making sense to me. Okay. Let's slowly go through all of this and change it now. Okay, so when I come into a state, I should set on entry animation. Boom. I'm 1 frame short, by the way, and it makes me feel bad, but switch case, by the way. And I'm saying when I want to go into idle state, I want this sprite and I want that index. I want to start on this frame and I want to be at this speed. Okay. Then from going from air to ground, I'm sorry, from idle to air, which is ground to air, set state. Yeah, I need to put like set transition state because that's what I'm doing. I'm transitioning from idle to air. Just putting set state like ruins my brain. So let's go set transition state. This might be ridiculous to some people, but set transition state. I need it to make sense for me. For me. There. And then we're going from idle to run. We're going from idle to crouch. Good. And then, yeah, this looks good. Okay, run. Don't need this anymore. Oh, God, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Now I can replace this, going from run to air. We don't need this. I love the fact that we don't need that on entry logic anymore. This is so much nicer. Run air. Player state air. Yeah, what do you take this guy? And I want to replace this entire thing with set transition state. I want it to be that. Okay, and then idle, running to idle is here. Running to crouch is here. Good. Now in the crouch, here's my entry logic, and I'm getting rid of this. And I'm just running that. Oh, I'm also changing my mask. Ooh. Ooh, I need to expand it. I never thoughts to do that. Okay, well, you know what? Let's just do this. We'll leave that there. Set on entry animation. Should it be sprite? Set on entry animation. Should it be set on entry sprite? Because isn't that literally what I'm doing? I'm setting the sprite, but I'm also changing the animation, like the what frame it lands on and the speed. So I'm gonna explicitly put here change sprite, mask sprite to smaller one for crouching. It should be obvious, but you never know. Okay. Then we're going from crouch to the air, which is going to be set transition. And we're going to this one. Here, player state to idle. We're moving this. Set transition state. Set transition state to idle. And here we're going to run. Set transition state to run. And here we're going to our crouch walk. So set transition state to crouch walk. Here's some entry logic here, which we do not want to be doing like this anymore. Might want to be changing the mask index as well. I'm probably gonna do that next. Okay, this is set on entry animation. We're going there. I don't think we're changing anything. This is only happening once. Okay, we're going from walking to air, which is just set transition state. We're going to air. Then here we're going from idle. So we're going set transition state. Going to run. Set transition state to run. Set on entry animation. That's great. Set animation. We're changing animation. Great. Oh, look at here. We're changing the state here. Anytime we change the state, we need to change. Wait a minute. I didn't want to set animation. I want to set transition state. These should be set transition state, set transition state. This is animation entry, transition state, transition state. Yeah, the only one that should be set animation is this one. Okay. That's all we've been doing, right? Is making sure that the animation is correct when we're coming in. Wait, why are we doing this twice? God damn it. Set on entry animation. Oh, we're not doing it twice. I forgot. I used to have the state change or the sprite stuff in here, but I removed it. Okay. That's where my confusion was. Set transition state. Okay. Set transition state. Set transition state to this. Set transition state here. Here's another one. Player state. Transition state. Set transition state. Transition state. Okay, here's another one where we're changing how we're doing this. We're also changing X scale. I need to extend this. Okay. This is set on entry animation with this. Hold on. This is ledge grab? Yeah, it animates. Wall grab is the one that does not animate. It stays at image speed 0. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back in here and add image scale and the other one. After I do this, I'm gonna be done. This is quite lengthy to change all this stuff. Player state air. Wait, why did I copy the whole thing? Set transition, set transition state to this. Set on entry to that. Okay, here's our entry again. This shouldn't be like this at all. We're gonna grab that to set on entry animation to here. We need to come back here and change that as well. Okay. Player state air, setting a transition. Set transition state to that. Player state, wall slide. We're doing this now. Players, oh, what am I doing? Set transition state. Okay. Next is my wall slide. Looks like I'm doing this. Image speed. Could just do set on entry animation to this. That'll get it animating correctly. Okay. Set player state, run. You know, I could just do a place and find. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just... Honestly, I'm not there today. I don't know what's going on. I could just do this and replace it with set transition state. Hold on, I'm only selecting here. Grab this, put it in here. This is a lot more scary if I mess this up. Search player equals player state.idle. And I want to swap it with set transition underscore state player idle. Yeah. That's exactly right. Find and replace all. Pow. That should have only done the idles, right? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yep, I knew it was going to cause a problem. Yep, I need to undo what I just did. Oh, man. Yep, that's going to cause a problem. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, that's fixed. That's why you don't... Uh-oh. Okay. Let's go back to what I was doing in the step event. Set transition. This is fine. I no longer need this. Set transition state. I no longer need this. Set transition state. Huh? Why is it selecting audio? That's weird. Okay. Set transition state. Idle. Set transition state idle. Jesus Christ. This is not it. Undo that. No, this is fine. Just not that. Okay. So I think I fixed this was a problem and this was a problem, but everything else is fine. Yeah, that's scary, man. If it's going to do that in locations where I don't want it to switch, I might as well just do it manual, because all it's going to take is for me to miss one of those and we're going to have a massive problem here. Let me just check to see how many issues I have already. Yeah, see? Not set before reading it. Oh boy. This was not an issue before, now it is. Fantastic. What did I do? Variable unknown. It was targeting this, right? Set transition state, new state. What isn't What? What's the problem? Unknown object in the create event for object player. Yeah, we fixed that. It was this. This was a problem, and I changed it here. Is this the problem? It's no longer that. Bro, you're killing me. Set transition state player, initialize player state. The heck? What is this? It says error in action number 1 of create event for the object. Here's the create event. Variable unknown dot player state. Player state is here. Not set before reading. What? Player state is set to player state idle. God damn it, this is why I don't do those freaking find and replaces the whole thing, dude. What the heck? If player state is not a new state, yeah, I've been using it the whole time. It was fine. What did I do? Set transition on line 4. This was not a problem until it is now. I don't quite understand. Here, let's... Okay, that's not a problem. Then it's not here. The problem has to be here then. I did something here. That's the only thing that was changed here. Let's go back. God damn it. How many of these do I gotta go back on? I don't even know what the heck this is saying, dude. How was it not an issue up until like 2 seconds ago? Did I change something here? I don't remember changing anything there. Set transition state. Set animation. It says that I tried to read the player state before it ever existed. Okay, is it because in the create event I'm doing this? Here, let's just set this defaulted. Is that what the problem is? It wasn't a problem before, now all of a sudden magically it is? Okay, well. Enter 2. 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 3. Okay, let's continue. I'm just gonna do it manually. Now I'm so freaking spooked that this is not the way I should be doing it. Maybe I should just do a check prior. Set on entry. Set transition. I can remove these now. This was never an issue. Okay. Change mask. I know I need to change that. I mean, this should be obvious. I'm delete it. It's obvious what I'm doing. Crouch collision mask. Like I'm changing. I don't know. Transition state is fine. Transition to idle. Transition to run. Transition to walk. Set transition to air. That's fine. Idle. Run. On entry. Great. Yeah, this all works. Ledge. Transition to wall grab. That all works. Transition to run. Transition to idle. On entry for the ledge grab. Set transition here. Set on entry. Wall grab to air. Yeah. Transition, yep. Wall slide. My on entry, good. Oh, here's another issue. Well, not issue, but I can continue here. Set state. Set transition state to here. And this should be to idle. To idle. Set transition to air. Okay, here's some on entry logic for my attack. It's actually quite a bit. Wait, what the heck? It wants to set if the current state was not attack, which we just figured out. That's player state. Set sprites. If you're on the ground, do this. Okay, so we're doing everything manually here. Huh? Oh. Yeah, we're doing this entire block one time, which is fine. The only thing we need to do is, because we're doing this one time at the end of the block, we need to make sure that we do this. And this. Okay. Yeah, so before we end there, let's do that. We're just like manually doing it for this one because it has a lot more. It's not as simple. Yeah, I mean, I guess index is 0, image speed is 1. I guess I don't need this, huh? Yeah, I guess I don't need that. I could just do here, set sprite, and do this one. We'll do set sprite, oops, set animation. We'll do there. Yep, and then we'll do this one here. Set animation, and then this one, else. We're doing this guy, set animation. There we go. So if you're not on the ground, you're doing the rising attack. And this is if you're going downwards. Yeah, this is if you're going downwards. So if you're in the air and you're going downwards, do the downward attack. And if you're going upwards, do the upward attack. Otherwise, just do the regular attack, like if you're on the ground. Because this is only going to happen if you're not on the ground. So if you are on the ground, you're doing this attack. Which we were going to expand later on anyways, do combo attacks. But, you know. And then after we're done doing this, we have to set this and then print this out, which is basically what we're doing in the on-entry logic. But on the on-entry logic, we're only doing one time, and this we're doing a lot more. So I think that's fine. When attack animation is over, transition back into the state we were, yeah. Okay, so this is transition, set transition state to run. This is set transition state to idle. And this is going back to air. There. Okay. This looks like the on-entry logic. So we don't... Oh, uh-oh. We have to include vulnerability frames now. I don't like that. Okay, we're gonna have to do this manually here. So here's what we'll do. We'll do this set animation to here, and then we're going to this. Do that. Okay. It's because it's in vulnerability timer. And this is just, we said we're just doing player state. Yeah, but this should only happen one time. Set the animation, set in vulnerability frames. Okay, transition to hurt state once the animation is over. Yeah, I guess. Set transition state to air. And we're doing run. To run. Transition to idle. Yeah. Okay, we're just about done here. On entry logic, player state. Play the sound. Again, this is grabbing the animation. Set animation. And then we're okay. That we should have done everything. Now it's gonna break or it's gonna work perfectly. Okay, so like, yeah, we're showing the done animation is running. I don't like it, but it's running. I don't think we're needing to optimize here. We're still at 515. I literally did nothing, even though we're not running all of those things. It didn't do anything for our frames or anything like that. At least I don't think it did. Oh, I saw something weird. Oh, I'm seeing some jittering. Oh, you know what? It might just be that we're swapping, so it looks weird. Let me go in my jump. In here, let's go to edit. Just remove this so I can see. And let's go back over there and do that. Let's make it big. Okay. Okay, that animation looks good. Going from idle to air, run. Run looks fine. And make sure our transitions are showing. Yeah, going from 1 to 0, 1 to 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, good. Okay, that looks good. Let's look at the jumping. Yeah, that's looking fine. Good. Crouching. Yes. Okay, air. crouch. Yeah. It should go crouch, idle, crouch. Yes, that's correct. Yeah. And then let's check the debug. We should see 5, because 5 is air, then idle into crouch. That's correct. That is the exact sequence I want. Bang, ba bang. Yes. That is correct. Okay, that looks good. Let's get the ledge grab. Yeah, ledge grab looks good. Ledge grab to air looks good. Yep. Okay, let's check the debug here. We should be seeing ledge grab is 6. 6 into... 6 into 5 because we're in air, and then eventually goes back into 0. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. Okay. And then let's practice dying here. Actually, our attack. Okay, that one's fine. Let me see if I have... Yeah, entered 9, 0. 9, 0. Good. Should still be 9. Good. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. And then let's... That looks good. Let's do our death animation. Hurt, hurt, hurt. Uh-oh, problem. Damn it, it was too good. It was too good. Everything was working way too well. Okay, the problem's going to be here. So let's figure out why. Okay, if the previous state... Hold on, this should only happen once. Yeah, check lives. Yeah, this should only happen one time. This is just stopping the animation. What did I do? I know I changed this to player dead. Let's player state dot dead. Let's see if for whatever reason that impacts it. I don't know why it would, but okay, I'm staying here dead. Or no, the heck? This is playing once. Set animation. I'm not doing anything in here, am I? Set animation. No, I'm just setting sprite index and image speed. And then I'm setting the image speed here to 0 once we're done animating. What's causing it to stop? This was fine before. It just magically decided to stop. Player state. I didn't do anything in here, I don't think. I hope not. Well, I'm pressing Control Z to undo and nothing's happening, so... Is this the problem? Player state equals idle. Jesus Christ, dude. If it's not one thing, it's another thing. I think I reduced... I think I made the code much more readable, and it's just... Oh, this looks more readable to me. I don't know. The problem is here. Okay, let's see what happens when I die again. We gotta really pay attention to this one. I'm getting hit. I'm entering the hurt state, back into the air state, back into the idle state. Those are working correctly. And then... Oh, I'm never going into death animation, I just noticed. Why? Interesting. So, from hurt... Oh, why am I not transitioning from hurt to dead? I think I know why. It's because here, somewhere around here. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Here, if my player health is less than here, this should be... Yeah, at any point I can go into hurt, but we said that we're not doing this anymore. So that's set transition to this. Okay. So our health changed, so we are hurt. There is no like state for that the player is in control of. If they take damage at any point for whatever reason, whether they're crushed, fall off the map, enemy hit them, they need to get hurt. And then the death transition, player state dead. This needs to happen at any point. Transition, set transition state to here. And actually, set animation. Oh, at the end of it, I'm not actually exiting. That's right. I need to do that as well. I need to do this. After running this code, I need to set that. Otherwise, it's going to run again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay, now we've got some new shenanigans here. Let's take a look at what it is. What does it say? Variable unknown, set transition state, not set before reading it. On game maker object game manager, set transition state player dot idle, reset the state. Okay, so the problem is here. It's going into our new player, it's grabbing the player state variable, and it's setting it to idle. And for whatever reason, this is no bueno. Why? Why is this no bueno? Jesus Christ. Yeah, because this is on entry logic. So for on entry, and this doesn't matter, I can go player state. Player state. Just follow the same. Let me just make sure I'm not losing my mind here. On, hurt, dead animation, good. And the problem here is this. Variable unknown, set transition state, not set before reading it. At game manager 48, new player dot set transition state, idle. Uh-oh. On line 48. Okay, here's the thing. I don't have that anymore. I did for a minute, and then I deleted it because it obviously made an error. But for some reason, you're still remembering it. So I think it's in your memory, clean code. Somehow you've kept this because there is no what you're saying there's there. So, pal, please just do what I want. Nope. Okay, that's really weird. Very, very strange. It's saying that in my game manager, which is here, it's saying that set transition state not set before reading it. But like, what are you talking about? Because there is no set transition state, right? Am I drunk? Here, let's set transition state player state dot idle. Here, let's actually just grab this. And I'm just gonna plug it in here. Find all. There is none. Like, what? There is none. How are you finding it if there is none? I know it was like that for a second. Here, let's just exit and restart. I know it was like that for a second because I did a find and replace, but I removed it. I'd since removed that. Go away. I'm gonna break my game. Ow. 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 Please. Why? I don't understand this one. Why? Okay. Hold on. Let's just take a breather. Let's figure out why. Okay. So here we're always listening because it's a universal transition. If I die, I just set transition state to dead. And then if I get hurt at any point, player damaged set transition state to hurt, right? I don't see where the problem is. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, we get in if this is the on entry logic. We need to reset this guy and print that out so I can constantly see. Hey, Asterisk 6, if you run in debug and hit the exception, you can look at some of the local vars that might offer a clue. Hey, if only I knew what you were talking about. Let's take a look at that together. Maybe you can help offer some assistance. So, let's move this out of the way. You're saying I can look at the local variables. Okay, variables. I have here global variables. I don't see any locals. I don't need my seeing here. I don't see anything. It's in the game manager. And it's saying in the game manager there is a variable. Instances might have local variables. Okay, so I'm looking for. It should be. Player state previous. No, I need player state. This one. Right? Does it change as I'm jumping? No, of course not. So, I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. So, I'm getting hit. Oh, they changed. Okay. Player state is 11. 11 is dead. Right? I'm not drunk. It's not showing me the right one. I want to show my enums. 11 is dead. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is dead, yes. Okay, so it's showing me dead. Yeah, it's in the step event of the manager. Right, it's right here. And it's right here. It's highlighting it. Wait, what the heck? Oh my god, dude, really? So, no, I mean, kinda, not really. No, this is a game maker's fault because I did a find and replace, and I saved, but then I undid it. I hit Control Z, I undid it and saved, and it didn't save my undo. It somehow stored this in memory. This should not be here. This should be player state. This should look like this. I don't know why this is here. Because I did this earlier and this wasn't here. I closed my game maker down, I brung it back up, and now magically it's back. So this should say player state, and it should be equal to this guy. I don't know why that's like that. That's ridiculous. Take damage, take damage, take damage, and die. That's what should happen. Okay, let's try that again. Hey, how come when I refresh my lives don't go back? What did I do there? I don't like it. Here, whatever. Let me just figure this out first and then I'll... Yeah, ship it. Okay. So he hits, it decrements, yes. Yes, perfect. Okay, we respawn, hit, and now we should see game over. Excellent. Alright, we're back in the game. Love it. Love it. Okay, I don't like the fact that I can't have my lives back whenever I respawn, and I don't remember why. In my game manager, I should be listening for the F5 key. Hello? Where did I forgot where I put it. I should be listening for a key press. Where is it? Did I not put it here? Is it in my debug? I bet you it's in my debug, isn't it? Let's go look. Dude, having to remember everything is insane. Controllers, debug, collision, draw. I need to separate this. Now I'm just like merging everything. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so when I press F5, it restarts the room. However, it does not restart the game manager. Like, it doesn't refresh everything. So, like here, I refresh all the enemy stuff. Yeah, I refresh all the enemy stuff. Where do I give all my player his health and life back? Right here. When I create a new player, I give him all his health back. But I don't give him all his lives back when I respawn. That's obvious. Why would I give him all his lives back? That's stupid. I think I need to make a new case or add a new thing here. Like if I press F5, give him all of his health back or life back. I think that's what I have to do. But I mean, I think the refactor I did today is what I wanted to get accomplished, and I got it accomplished. That looks significantly better. You know, I probably did a bunch of work that was unnecessary, but it was bothering the hell out of me. I need to fix that, of course. Yeah, I can go down all the platforms. Let's check it out here. Yeah, ledge grab looks good. Wall slide into my states. Yep, looks good. Let's do the jumping. Yep, looks good. Yep. Yep. I don't see any issues with it. Oof, barely made that. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, it's looking good, right? It's looking good. Like the animations. The transitions are looking good. So today Astersig, I learned something today on Game Maker. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I'll share it with you and you let me know if it's obvious. If you're like, yeah, you dummy. Everyone's like videos that I watch on YouTube to try to learn this stuff, right? They show some sort of transition from state to state that looks like, let's say I'm in idle, right? Let me go to my idle state. Okay. So let's say I'm in idle. In videos, when they're like transition from one state to another, they'll just show you like player state equals and then whatever the new state is, right? And then when you go to that new state, let's say it's run, right? Here they show you like, okay, well you want to change your sprite, right? You put like your sprite goes here. But what they don't tell you is that Game Maker keeps track of the image index regardless of if you're switching sprites. So if your sprite is, let's say your idle animation is 10 frames and your run animation is 10 frames, and you're idling and you're like on frame 5, so you're idling, frame 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, gets to 5, and then you decide to run, running won't start at frame 0 like you think it would. It runs at frame 5, like it remembers where the current image index is. I'm sorry, it remembers, image index is, and then it just runs at that frame, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why, if I switch my sprite, I want it to start from frame 0. So that was a problem. They don't mention that. So I figured it out by accident. I was looking at my frames and I was noticing that every now and then it would just start randomly. I was like, what the hell is that? And you don't notice the problem if one of your animations, it has less frames than the current animation that you're on, the current frame that you're on. So in the same example, let's say I'm falling and there's 10 frames. And on my falling animation, goes looping. I happen to be like on frame, let's say 3, and then I hit the ground. And let's say my idle animation's only 1 frame. Because 3 is greater than 1, it'll start at 0. And so I didn't notice that it wasn't starting at frame 0 at the beginning of every new sprite change, because sometimes the frame that the sprite that you're transitioning into has less frames in it than the current image index of the current frame that you're on. The language is ridiculous, but so that was a problem. No, it's not. It's in the documentation, so I started reading it, and I was like, dude, that just seems ridiculous, right? But yeah, that's how it works. So it says here, where is it? Where did I read it at? Is it on Sprite? Where did I read it at? I have like a million tabs opened. Oh, here it is. Image index. That's the one I meant to show you. Wait, isn't that the one I just had up? No. Image number. I meant to have image number. Okay, sprite. Where did I see it? Sprite is made up of more sub-images, which can make the sprite appear animated as they switch from one to another. They can be switched in code. If the sprite is animated, then you can get the current frame of the animation by checking that. Or if you want to check the static, you can set a new sub. Where did I read it? It's on one of these stupid ones. Is it image number? This read-only variable can be used to get number of sub-images. If you need the number of sub in another one, you should do. Please note that when there is, for example, one sub image, it will return 1, but the image index is 0. Where did I read it at, dude? God damn it. Sprite index. Is that the one I read? You can change it to have different sprite. Okay, here it is. Changing the sprite does not change the index of the current visible frame, given that there is a sub-image for the current frame in the new sprite. So if you change the sprite on frame 3, the new sprite will be drawn with that frame visible. So, however, if the new sprite does not contain a sub-image for that current frame, so let's say the current animation you're running is on frame 3, but the one that you're transitioning to or switching the animation to only has 2 frames. Well, 3 is greater than 2. So then it switches the image index will reset to 0, displaying the first frame of the sprite instead. So, like, you have a sprite, and it would be intuitive to me that every time you switch sprite, you mean to start it from the beginning of its animation. That just made sense to me, but that's not what's happening. Game Maker says, okay, we're going to track image index, and I don't care what animation you're on, we're always going to keep track of it. And the only time we're resetting to 0 manually is if the current animation you have running has the current frame that you're on is greater than the amount of frames you're going to be switching to. Then it resets it, and only then to 0. So I was like, okay, how do I get around this? You have to manually do it every time you switch a sprite, and the answer is yes. So I was like, okay, well, I need to make some functions to do that for me. So whenever I want to switch a sprite, right, when I want to just change the sprite to whatever I have, I want to change the index to be 0, which is what it should be doing on its own, but whatever. And the image speed to 1 by default, unless I change otherwise. And so now, that solved that problem. So now I can make it so that every time I want to change my animation, I can, by just using this right here. And then I came to a second problem, which, again, no video shows you. At least none that I found. I followed 3 really big YouTubers, and none of the videos that I've watched so far in their series have they mentioned this. But when they set, a lot of people come in here into their states and they do this. They have like a sprite index equals, and then whatever sprite they want to use, right? Let's just say whatever here. So every time that you're in this state, it's going to try to change your animation to the one that you set because it's running every single frame. So even though you're already in that sprite, let's say you're already in the running sprite while you're in the run state, frame 1, it tries to set sprite image to that. Then frame 2, it does the same thing again. And over and over and over while you're in that run state. It would make logical sense. Of course it does. But like intuitively, you're like, why would you try to set a sprite to itself if you're already on that sprite? It doesn't make any sense. So you need to only swap a sprite if it's not already that sprite, or on the first time that you're entering a state. And then you like, okay, well, does it do that automatically? No, the answer is no, of course not. So you need to write some way of when you come into your state to run the animation only once and only once. So I run the script now, so now I can change the animation to the run when you go into the run state, but you only do it one time and you never do it again. Because that's the way it should function already. Why it doesn't function that way, I don't know. But that's what I spent all day today figuring out and fixing, because I don't like the fact that that was running every frame. One, it's inefficient, and so like I even made all this the debug code so I can see it happening. Now the next thing I want to fix is the images. That's pretty ridiculous. So apparently, if you're running at anything less than 60 frames per second, it turns your frames into fractions. Or the space in between them into fractions. So like if I'm at 6 frames per second and the game is running at 60 frames per second, but the sprite is at 6, if you notice here, frame 1, the index is 0, then frame 2, it's at 0.2, then frame 3, it's 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, until finally it finishes 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Because it's 6 frames per second, we're like, it's 1/10. Or is it 1/6? 1/6 of, no, it would be 1/6 of running at 10 frames per second. I don't know. But yeah, this is an issue. And this sucks. This matters. Like, what is this guy rambling on about? But this matters because when you're here in your player and you want to play like your jump animation, jump animation, you think like, this is my jump animation. Why do I have to? You have to stretch it out. You have to stretch out your animations over the course of 1 second or 60 frames per second, which is dumb. It's actually dumb. I don't know why. You would think you can just have like frame 1 be this guy, frame 2 be that guy, frame 3 be this one, frame 4 be that one, and set your FPS here to like 6. And then all is fun, fair, you know? No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. It should be, but it's not. So I'm trying to figure out how to get around that. It's a big mess. And the reason why you would want to get around that is to know when you stop an animation. So when I'm jumping, I'm going to go over there, love. So when you're jumping, where am I? Brain, hello? Crouch, idle, crouch, air. Aha, here. So when you jump, when you're rising, you want your player to do this, right? But as it's falling, you want them to like, free fall, right? And so you'd want one animation to run when you first come into the air state, which is you're leaving the ground, you're like jumping up, right? But as you're descending, as you're rising, once the animation is done, you don't want the loop to continue as you're rising. You don't want like him doing this as you're rising up in your jump. Like, that's ridiculous. You only want it to play one time. So you need to stop it at some point. And so you need to track the index, the amount of numbers in the frames, and the second you get to the end of it, you need to stop. You need to set image speed to 0. This is in my mind what should be happening. And then you want to make sure that the image index is in fact the last frame in the animation. Makes sense to me. So this whole 0.2, 0.4, 0.3 garbage gets in the way of this working if you don't leave FPS 60 and then stretch everything out, which is ridiculous. Like, I should just be able to switch FPS to 6 and leave it at 4 frames and be done with it, but no. This will not work that way. So I think tomorrow it's going to be figuring out a good workaround here. I still need to introduce delta time, which is a completely other thing I have to do, but at least this way, if I'm able to convert the image number, the number of frames, into a decimal point based on how many frames or how long this is animating, then I can find out what the 1 is, because 1, you have to minus 1 because it starts on frame 0, which is 0, not 1. But yeah, lots of stuff to fix. But we made some progress today, man. I think we did a lot here. I think it's way more readable and what is it? It describes itself. That way I don't have to have as many comments. It says overly verbose. I'll maybe later migrate away from the switch case statement. It's really easy for me as a beginner because only one of those states can run. Whereas if you do a state that holds a function or a method, it can change whenever you want to, even when you don't want it to. And it causes a ton of errors for beginners. Well, that's what I found, so I stopped doing it. But things can only happen once. So once you get to this state, it's only going to allow you to run one state, which is nice. And when you exit on the next frame, it'll only allow you to run one state. Once I get more advanced, I'll probably migrate away from this because there are some limitations that I'm starting to feel. But we'll handle that when I get there. This is starting to look good. It's actually a lot, like figuring out how you want to transition from state to state and what those conditions are, and how you want to handle your sprite animations without looping them, and when to get them to stop and how to get them to stop. I think I might actually rework how on ground works and add air to it, because currently when we are working with our on ground variable, we don't actually change, we don't push ourselves into the player state air immediately, which we could. I forget. I need to go through it all and remember if it's a problem or not if I send myself into the air state anytime I'm not on the ground, because we have coyote time and I forget how I set it up. There's a lot to remember, like, because you have coyote frames and hang time frames, and they're working now. But if I set myself to the air state immediately, because I think technically I'm not in the air, I'm in the run state, I think, for a few of those frames. I forget. I need to go. Or maybe it's just a timer. I forget how I set it up. But before I allow myself to go into the air state immediately, I need to double check that that's the case. Look at that. I'm able to jump like while I'm in the air for a little bit. It's a feels good thing. You can't wait too long though. If you try to lag on it, you just can't ever do it. Yeah, but it looks good. I wonder how many more states I'm going to be adding here. I have a lot. I've got 11. Right, I've got the idle, crouch, crouch walk, ledge grab, jump, the animation for in the air ascending, the animation for descending. You have attack, attack while rising, attack while falling. You have your hurt animation. Then you have your death animation. But there's 11 states and a few like in between states. They're just for visual purposes. There's a lot, man. I think another thing I want to add is combos, because right now it's just like the same attack, 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 attack. And I want him to, you know, maybe after he finishes going up, he swings back the other way and then maybe spins around. So that needs to get changed. But yeah, it's coming along, man. A lot of things I have to fix. I don't like a lot of what I learned from one of the guys on how to make these jumping platforms. I mean, it works, but the code is just everywhere and it's kind of disgusting. And yeah, I'm going to expand it. I wonder if, maybe I should, I wonder if after I'm done with a lot of this, if I want to make a video on how I created it and kind of credit everybody that I learned from, and then maybe post all my code so everybody can have it and make platform games with the code. And all they have to do is change sprites. That'd be nice. Imagine, make your own platformer game, do zero coding. That'd be nice. That would be nice. Look at that. It's looking good, man. Oh, I'm dead. I got squished. I think I'm going to add the condition where you die. No, I think I just want to take a health. I'm going to take a health bar from you, or a health orb, and immediately make you respawn. I don't think I want to take a life from you. Do I want to take a life from you? Maybe I do. It's an insta-death. Huh? Wait, that will crush me, right? Yeah, it crushes me. Yeah. Okie dokie. I think that's good for today. Or at least for right now. I need to get some food. It is 12. Oh, that's gnarly. It pushes me sideways. Uh-oh. Oh, and it leaves me. Wait a minute. That's a bug. Oh, it's because it's... Wait, why is that? Wait, what the heck? Why is it leaving? So when I'm on this platform, I'm fine. But if I'm on this platform, it drops me. Wait, why is that? Uh-oh. That's not good. No. Not like this. I mean, I don't know where I would really add this into my game. It's only here because I'm too lazy to move things around. But I don't want you to be able to push me off. That's kind of silly. Oh, you know what I think it is? Is because I stretched it. I stretched the point where you're able to fall down from. I think that's what it is. I don't remember. I don't remember. But yeah, that shouldn't be how it works. That's weird. So okay, if I'm on here, I'm able to go right through it, no problem. But if I am here, it drags me and then it lets me go. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, hold on. See if I can do it. Yeah, just why? What? Huh. There's something in my code that's removing the platform. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't want to speculate. That's not something I want to fix right now. I think I need to fix. I think I need to fix my code for. Don't squish me. Oh. For this, I need to switch how this works. So this crushes me just fine and pushes me out just fine. But that is a problem. If I do it just right, I get stuck. If I switch from one sprite to another, or one mask to another, it will let me get lodged in there like that. I mean, I don't know how much it matters because you're gonna die. I'm probably gonna kill you and make you respawn, but you know, it's there. It'll only do it if you're crouched. And then, no, I didn't time it right. And now, oh, and now, do what? No, I can't do it. Wow. There we go. Yeah, it's because you're able to, and then you're not, and then there's pushing involved. It's yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. But you're gonna be dead. You're